And welcome to Access Sports Live here on AccessWDUN.com and on our Twitter page at WDUN Sports. Joining us today, East Hall Athletics Director Adam Rich via the Skype line. Coach, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Oh, great. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you and I talking before we went live here about, trying to find things to do. You being an AD, obviously everything's shut down in the world of high school sports, but you're also an assistant principal at East Hall. What are you doing at this moment?
Well, we are moving forward for next year in a sense, but also dealing with this year at the same time, kind of multitasking. As an assistant principal, you're always looking ahead to what positions we'll need. So we're doing a lot of hiring seasons going on right now. So matter of fact, before we came on, I just did a Zoom online interview with a teacher, and so a lot of online interviews recently, and we still meet at the school. Administration can still meet on campus, so I'll go in off and on. I'm not today because here I'm also a fourth grade and kindergarten teacher today, so intermixing those things as well, and then also too. But as for the present, a lot of my job now is facilitating our education. With our students now that we're online. The nice thing is I actually have taught 2 years online before, and actually my master's is in online, instructional technology, but my focus also is in online teaching. So providing resources and helping our teachers, continue to move the curriculum rather than just provide assignments. So.
Speaking of the online stuff, I know it's kind of a different world for most of the teachers out there. Is there anything difficult about the online teaching for teachers?
The hardest part, and I say that it's the hardest part in teaching, period, whether online or in the classroom, is motivation. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing is when a kid's in your classroom, you can look them in the eye, talk to them, get them motivated, literally through your interaction. The hard part now is to get everybody else involved. When you don't see the kid at all, and then plus a lot of our students have decided to go get jobs to help their families since they have newfound free time. Well, so now it's getting the kids who normally would be in class from 8 to 3 are now working. So trying to keep them motivated, keep their work turned in. But aside from that, though, I tell you the most amazing thing that happened, when you look at this, is take any profession and tell that person that you're going to have to change how you do everything you do in a matter of a couple of days, and then start fresh and let's go. Our teachers did that. All of our teachers are now fully functional online teachers. Luckily, Hall County really had us set up really nice with we use Canvas to help our students, and our students were very familiar with it. Now, I won't say every teacher embraced it up until now. Now they have to. And they didn't really have to before then, but now, just to see how teachers literally adapted a whole curriculum, and to see too, what was also amazing to see is how many people really reached out. There were a lot of free, Georgia Virtual School opened up their walls for all the schools in the state of Georgia, so that way we could use their resources. So just to see how everything kind of flipped, changed, and really now it's trying to, take something for years and years in person and now flipping it online. But it's amazing to see how our county's done it pretty much without ease.
Well, do you feel like this is going to perhaps maybe down the future, that this is going to be something that the school system looks at? Maybe, I was thinking the other day, schools could actually start school later, but really start online, say in August, for energy savings. Do you think something like that may come out of this online school, and how effective it's been so far?
I could see that. We've actually, Hall County has already introduced roughly 2 to 4 school from home days already, where our teachers utilize that as well. But I could definitely see that being something to where we try to incorporate a bit of both. Now, I still think you lose, some aspects of building character and building, relationships, and kids having to deal with how to solve problems with other students. It's always the argument people have with homeschooling their kids anyway, with, how do you build those relationships and teach kids right from wrong, and let them, actually get some social interaction. But with that being said, I could definitely see it being a piece that we add on, especially now that way we're never running into an event. We come into an event like this again, we're going to be even more prepared for when this happens. But I definitely see this being more of a future, something we're just doing once and moving on.
Well, now let's get to the athletic part of it, which I know you lead the athletic department there. What have you? We're in spring season, and now it's kind of dwindled away. What are you telling your coaches? I mean, are you guys having Zoom meetings or anything to discuss athletics and where you go from here? I know you're kind of at the mercy of the state and at the governor and the GHSA, but what are the coaches saying, and what's the morale among the coaches at East Hall High School?
Well, I tell you, imagine doing everything in your job, and it all builds up to a certain point, and you finally get your chance to do what you love to do, and then it's just taken away from you. And that's what our spring coaches are dealing with. They're probably hit the hardest. At least our fall and our winter. Winter just ended. Our fall sports are they were starting to ramp up, but they haven't really hit it too hard yet. But your spring sports, that's who you feel for. Your coaches, your seniors. This is their senior year, and who knows if we're going to get a season. The way things are going, you got to think we're not. I hope we do. GHSA still hasn't thrown the towel in yet, and I've heard a lot of different reports and talk. Nothing official, but maybe starting a playoff as soon as we come back. Maybe doing a Hall County tournament just to give the seniors one more, hoorah. But that's the group that's hit the hardest. The group that they've poured in these hours. I think of our baseball team and they actually, after last year, we went 0-12 to start the season. And, we already, pulled an upset win on Cherokee Bluff to go in and almost pulled 2. We've really put a lot of hours into those kids, and who knew where we were going to be. Soccer, they finally started to turn the corner, new coach, and they started off 0-5, and now they're I think they're 3-5 now, something, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it in a while since we've moved away, but roughly, we've won a couple ball games now and finally started to get the team back to where East Hall standard is. And so you just start looking at all of our sports, and then all of a sudden it's just the rug's pulled out from under you, and it's so those are our coaches that are hit the hardest. Now we are meeting. My coaches are meeting with Zoom. We've been meeting. We met once officially. We're going to meet again once this week. I try to keep them abreast of what's going on. From what I hear, every time we hear something, I try to keep them together. And just like with our coaches and our players, I want them to host Zoom meetings and to talk to them to get eyes on eyes, because we can't technically meet, but we can at least try to contact them some way or another. And that's probably the biggest thing I've been telling our coaches is don't forget the relationships, because a lot of our coaches were our players, father figures, or the only solid mentors they had in their lives. And so for us, it's important not to lose. I've told them call home, check on their family lives, see what's going on. Make sure they don't need anything. And then obviously some of our coaches have done some sent some workers, suggestions to kind of get them going. Some coaches have sent game films to try to get them thinking about what they're doing and what's going on. Grade checks, because obviously, eligibility is still there. Oh, yeah. And we still need our kids to be eligible for fall sports, no matter what happens in spring sports. So that, that's always a worry. You have some unmotivated kids that sports was their motivator, and now they lost their motivation. But we definitely are really active on trying to meet with my coaches, trying to keep them informed. The hard part too is our kids are uninformed. Some of their parents aren't telling them what's going on and what's going on in the news, and they just don't get it. So making sure that our coaches are informing them. And then same with our coaches. We're all kind of uninformed in some ways. We're at the whim of the state or the nation on what we should do or can't do. So a lot of times, giving an example, I had a meeting with our region athletic directors last week, and it was all for naught because by that afternoon, everything was pushed to April 27th. So in any discussions that we had were just fruitless at that point. We had nothing concrete, but we had brought out some ideas of what we could do if we were to come back April 6th. And then obviously we're pushed 21 days later. So
well, let's talk about that elephant in the room. April 27th. That's technically second week of baseball playoffs, second week, I think, of soccer playoffs. I've said before it's all but canceled as far as the spring sport. That's just me, my opinion. I don't want it to be that way because obviously, we need stuff to cover, and it would be fun to have, some type of playoff run to go. You mentioned a moment ago maybe some type of playoff, or maybe Hall County gets together to have their own little playoff for the seniors to send them out. But realistically looking at this, Coach, do you feel like there is any way possible to get high school athletics in if they go back April 27th?
If we come back April 27th, yes, I do think we can get some sort of sports going. Now, the problem is going to be like with baseball. Your pitchers haven't thrown in months. So, anything's going to at least need at least a week to get their, soccer athletes haven't run. Well, at least we hope they have, but right. The odds are not like in a full game, So, I think they're the things that I've heard, would be maybe starting a playoff instantly, but I don't know how you do that. Is everybody in? Is everybody, because there's no way, nobody's going to be okay. I won't be okay with our team being out of anything. I don't care what sport it is, just because who knows what would happen throughout the regular season. I think, I don't know. I think we could get something in if it came April 27th. We would just have to definitely push it further back. And I'll tell you, here's the nice thing about being, at least I can speak for Hall County and a lot of our mountain county schools that that we're in our region currently, is every one of us want something. Right. Meaning we want our seniors to have something, that they can hold on to or have to finish their season out right. None of us are okay with, just saying it's done and walk away. Whereas we've heard, other counties, even further south of us, kind of saying it's they're done, right. Or in other states. Whereas we really would like to, if we can, play something, get a senior night game, get a small tournament, anything that we can to at least, give our seniors one last hurrah. To end. So then that's just, I'm telling you, it was great just hearing from all the various county schools, inside our county and in our region, and how all of us are trying to find something we can do for our kids, once we can finally get the go ahead.
Well, Coach, just kind of off topic of coronavirus and COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it. What exactly? I know you said you've been a kindergarten and a fourth grade teacher. How's that going for you?
Well, you know what? The nice thing is, somebody my level, I'm never home. So the good news is I get to spend some time with my kids again and do some things that I hadn't been able to do consistently. Yeah. At least 3 nights a week, I'm always at a ball game, and so that means my wife's kind of playing teacher anyway when she does the homework with them. So. Now, for me, it's been really nice to do that. Now, the negative is, I grew up in a little different math model than our kids do now. So I'm having to teach myself a little bit of some of this new math as we're going forward. But that being said, it's been fun. It's I tell you, to see how our teachers really pour into our kids and how they, I'll be honest, I'd say my kids really have learned over the last are we advancing a lot? Maybe not, but are we at least staying where they were and growing incrementally? Yeah, we are. And it's been fun to do that and kind of be with my kids and, like I said, that time in general, I wouldn't have been with them. And so now to have that time with them, it's been fun.
So what's your routine now?
Pretty much, I wake up at about, I do get to sleep in a little bit. Yeah. Normally I'd be at school by 7. Now I'm waking up at 7. I kind of start at 8, and the kids and I will sit around the table, and roughly for them, it takes about 4 hours to get all their work done, which is really fun watching them do PE, Fortnite PE in my living room, or the Spider-Man PE was my favorite one actually. So we do, I try to, for me, it's trying to work in between helping them for about 8 to 12, and then for me, I continue to go from 12 to 4. A lot of it for me is, a lot of meetings, online meetings with our teachers, a lot of interviews, some on campus, some off campus. If my wife's home, then I'll join her. Then I'll go to school and help there, or online interviews like we did today. Like I said, for me right now, it's a lot of hiring process. So I'm looking through a lot of applications, trying to find the best fit for what we need. And then on top of that, looking through our teachers' courses and trying to find ways that I can help them and That way we can, help our students the best as we move forward. So, trying to give them ideas on how we can still, not lose that personal touch, but as well as also still pushing forward our content. Because that's the hardest part is you still want them to learn, because even though testing is out, next year we're starting a new subject, so we need to at least complete this year. So, and then roughly, like I said, my hours are now about 8 to 4. So I won't lie, I get my afternoons back, I have my evenings back. But I won't lie, I'm also bored as ever.
I'm into that one. Yeah, bored as ever.
I know it's bad when I'm watching Michael Jordan play in the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals on the NBA TV because I just miss sports.
Hey, WrestleMania here, man.
I watched that too last night. I needed something, and I hadn't watched wrestling in years.
Same here.
But I miss athletic activities.
Yes. Yeah. So whatever's on, I'm watching it.
You know what? If my neighbors decide to throw cornhole, I might announce it for them.
Make sure you video that and send that to me.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've missed sports. That's for sure.
Too. I completely missed it, and I just hope it happens sooner than later.
Well, imagine I'm a Florida State fan, and I went to Florida State. So here our basketball team was finished number 4 in the nation.
I know.
And probably had its best chance to possibly be in the Final Four. And nothing. Oh my God.
But crowned ACC champs, the kind of default, and
well, we won the regular season,
right,
so I don't feel bad taking it.
No, I don't. I wouldn't either. But so what's your favorite takeout place to get food right now?
Well, we have I actually live in Jefferson, so we have a Mexican restaurant right just up the road called Gringo's.
Okay.
So it's and that's actually my kids' favorite, because they love the cheese dip, and I just love Mexican food, so that's probably basically my number one right now.
So any tips for your social distancing techniques or hand sanitizer? Your favorite hand sanitizer flavor? Jeff Hart's is coconut, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
Everybody says that.
I think the biggest thing is, just trying to be smart, doing the things, that's a lot of it. It's, my favorite quote was, I've been washing my hands for years, and now I'm applauded for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of it, it just, I think we as people, and that's probably, I'll say the hardest part for me is I am a people person. I love being amongst my friends, and we've still met up here and there, but we try to be, cognizant about what we're doing. It's funny seeing all of us, before we might shake hands. A lot of us have been a lot more dabs or elbow bumps, and I've had to do, I've had to get a little recreational. I did go a little golfing the other day, so I figured I was far enough away because my ball's never down the middle of the fairway.
Well, see, I'm always in the woods playing golf, so hey, I'm clear on the social distancing policy there.
That's exactly right. So.
Well, Coach, I thank you for taking the time out today to talk to us. Just want to catch up with you, see what's happening over at East Hall, and I know you guys are going to announce a basketball coach hiring here soon, so please keep me.
We're looking to make that announcement hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, keep me abreast of that when we can do something on that. Okay.
We'll do for sure. Thank you,
Coach. Stay 6 feet away. Okay.
I'm done.
Wash your hands.
I've been doing that longer than this week.
Amen to that. All right, Coach. Talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Coach
Bye.
Adam Rich on with us from East Hall, the athletics director at East Hall here today. Check us out on Twitter at WDUN Sports and our website, AccessWDUN.com.